A wagging tongue knows no limits. It sounds a bit like an old proverb, doesn't it? But honestly, right now, it is the single most dangerous vulnerability in our entire operation. I mean, picture this. You're at a local cafe, you're just casually venting about a tough project with a work buddy, and without even realizing it, you've just handed a lucrative, multi-million-dollar contract straight over to our biggest competitor. Just like that. Innocent, everyday chatter can, and absolutely does, lead to devastating commercial failure.
So first off, welcome to the team. We are genuinely thrilled to have you on board with us. But as new employees, you really need to understand that you are stepping into a highly competitive and frankly, sometimes ruthless corporate arena. This explainer is going to serve as your essential training module on corporate defense. Today, we're going to equip you with the rigorous insider secrets you need to actually identify and defend against intelligence gathering and industrial espionage.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking we're just being a bit paranoid, right? Well, actually, we aren't. The strategies and protocols we're covering today come straight out of the official security frameworks of the International Council for Industrial Security and Safety Management, or ICSSM. This is the gold standard industry-level defense, and mastering it, it's an absolutely critical, non-negotiable part of your new role.
Okay, so here is our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Anatomy of an office breach. 2. Methods of industrial espionage. 3. Evaluating vulnerability. 4. Daily security. 5. Auditing documents. And finally, 6. Staff departures.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Anatomy of an Office Breach.
Let's look at a hypothetical scenario to see exactly how a data leak unfolds in the real world. Because, look, it rarely looks like a flashy Hollywood heist. It's actually a slow, highly methodical extraction. Let's walk through this timeline. It starts on day 1 with that boastful, careless talk at a local cafe we just mentioned. By week 2, a competitor's agent who overheard you might engineer a deliberate emotional attachment, slowly, carefully gaining an employee's trust. By month 1, they might target a totally different employee with a highly attractive but completely fake job interview, just to extract operational details. And the result of all this? By month 2, the competitor has pieced all these little fragments together like a giant puzzle and obtained our confidential tendering details. And boom, the contract is lost.
Moving on to Section 2, Methods of Industrial Espionage.
What's really fascinating, and kind of terrifying, honestly, is that spies rarely rely entirely on high-tech gadgets on day 1. Instead, they exploit normal human behavior and standard corporate routines. You really have to understand the difference between normal business and predatory tactics. For example, normal business involves standard recruiting, right? Espionage uses aggressive headhunting. They target you specifically to extract your insider knowledge, not just to get your skills. Legitimate interviews are meant to hire you. False job interviews, they are basically in-depth interrogations designed solely to trick you into involuntary disclosures about our operations for a job that doesn't even exist. You absolutely have to be able to spot the difference.
But hey, the threats aren't only conversational. We also face severe, covert physical threats. Competitors might use illegal electronic bugging in our phones and boardrooms. Then there's the imposter. This is someone who walks right through the front door looking like a legitimate public utility engineer or a health and safety inspector, simply using the walk-in and look technique if our security is lax. We also have to watch out for the Trojan horse, which is literally an agent infiltrated into our workforce, and the observer, someone just parked outside in a car, quietly taking notes on the comings and goings of our suppliers.
That brings us to Section 3, Evaluating Vulnerability.
Knowing that these methods are out there, we have to assess our current risk before our competitors do it for us. So, I want you to pause for a second. Seriously, ask yourself, how vulnerable is your specific department right now? What are the immediate risks lurking in your everyday workspace? Because trust me, every single department handles something a competitor desperately wants.
The absolutely crucial point here is knowing what makes you a target. Are you working on future products development? Do you handle tendering and contract details? Even things you might just brush off as routine, like listings of customers and suppliers, predicting future sales growth, or having access to key staff salaries. Guys, this is absolute gold to an industrial spy. If you handle any of this on a daily basis, your vulnerability level is exceedingly high.
To combat this, our leadership team has to continually assess our security measures. This means we are constantly auditing current security loopholes. We actively employ counter-espionage measures to check if competitors are showing any undue interest in us. We also have to strictly ensure our older procedures are still valid.
Why? Because when our business operations change and evolve, it can sometimes create entirely new security loopholes that literally didn't exist yesterday.
Section 4. Daily Security. This brings us to the most practical part of our explainer today, and really, your personal frontline defense. I highly encourage you to pull out your phone and take a screenshot of this daily desk security checklist, okay? Before you leave your workspace, you must secure large drawings and plans. Always lock your VDU screens. But it's not just your desk. Remove sensitive wall charts, lock away any physical product models, and absolutely shred or burn any spoiled photocopies. Never, ever leave visual information out in the open for the imposter or the observer to steal.
Speaking of photocopies, let's talk about the photocopy machine. It is, quite literally, the industrial spy's gift. Uncontrolled access to copy machines has led to massive, catastrophic commercial and government leaks over the years. This is exactly why, for classified materials, copying must be done in a separate room by staff of known integrity, authorized only by the document's originator, and strictly logged. No exceptions.
Next up, Section 5, Auditing Documents.
So, since we're on the topic of classified materials, let's move to the leadership protocols for auditing restricted physical documents. First, we've got to eliminate any ambiguity. A restricted document is any material classified as confidential or for private circulation. These materials require strict access, meticulous tracking, and authorized reproduction only. If a document has this classification on it, it is absolutely not casual reading material to be left on a coffee table.
To ensure these documents stay secure, our security office follows a very exact 4-step life cycle. Step 1, classification. Step 2, registering every single movement of that document. Step 3, strict periodic audits of that register against the physical documents themselves. And Step 4, random, highly publicized checks. This actually brilliantly illustrates our defense strategy. By making these random checks public, we actively deter anyone who might be tempted to just borrow a document for some furtive, illicit copying.
And finally, Section 6, Staff Departures. Let's address a dedicated protocol for our supervisors regarding the absolute highest risk period in any employee's life cycle, staff departures. When staff leave, for whatever reason, it is a prime source of information leakage, whether it's deliberate or completely accidental. That's why we have a very stark policy rule. If an employee with access to sensitive information resigns or is dismissed under suspicious circumstances, supervisors must strongly consider payment of cash instead of a notice period, followed by their immediate release from the premises. We simply cannot afford a 2-week window for someone to download our future plans.
And this feeds right into our broader supervisor protocols. Not only must we immediately release suspicious departures and revoke their sensitive access at once, but we also have to be incredibly careful when filling those newly opened gaps. When deploying temporary staff, supervisors must never place them directly into highly sensitive areas. If a vacancy opens up in a high-risk department, the standard protocol is to temporarily transfer a trusted, permanent employee into that role and then use the temporary worker to backfill the less sensitive position. It's a simple shuffle that saves us massive risk.
Well, we've covered a lot of really crucial ground today, right? From the casual dangers of a wagging tongue at a coffee shop, all the way to the strict leadership protocols of document registries and clean desks. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to carefully consider as you step into your new role with us. Are you going to be the strongest link in our security chain or the weakest? Apply these defensive tactics to your daily operations starting right now, today, and let's keep our company's future secure. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and once again, a huge welcome to the team.